So why is this a better presentation and superior to the scratch work just over here? It is for two reasons. Number one is every step is logical. One step leads to another. And number two is every variable is traceable. And these are two important ingredients in getting as much partial credits as possible. Okay, so it's good to build this habit. Let's see why this is. How is this logical? So let's see over here. So the first line tells me I'm quoting the relevant formula for the external B field. And the second line says that if this, I'm using the formula I just quoted, that if the source current decreases, the external magnetic field decreases, right? So this is directly from here. In fact, better, we should put a since symbol over here. So it reads perfectly smooth as well. So it says since, given by the formula that we learned, the external B field is equal to this. Therefore, if the source current decreases, the external B field will decrease, right? So the first line to the second line is very logical, right? Anyone reading this, it almost tells a story, and anyone reading this will know exactly why it is you've justified why this is true. Now, it says, as this decreases, therefore, the Lenz's law implies that induced B field will increase, right? So the next line says, okay, so we've convinced ourselves that the current decrease will cause this to decrease. Now, why does this decrease causing this increase? What is the reason? The reason is Lenz's law. So just like this equation justifies this leap of step, here we're quoting a formula that we learned, and here we're quoting a law that we learned that justifies why this decrease becomes this increase. Now, why does this increase, whereas the induced B field increases out of the screen, why does that causes the induced current to go counterclockwise? Well, there's the second right-hand rule. We can just quote this. It's sort of, this is probably not the most rigorous, but at least it's a reason from the course that we learned, right? That we use a rule that we learned to justify when the induced B field increase, the induced current go in the counterclockwise. So once again, there's 4 steps going on here. Is this causes this, and then this causes this, and then this causes this result. And so I think there's 1, 2, 3 key steps here, and each step is justified from something we learned in the class. Okay, so this is good presentation. And if this is an open response question, this will give you full credits. Now, I know this is a short answer question in this particular scenario, but there's no harm, as you can see how little time it is to build this up and build up the habit of doing this. And secondly, it's about traceable. So every variable should be traceable from how you define a diagram. So for example, here, the B external that I used over here is defined over here. So this is the B external field. And then if this is better, I probably should have drawn something separate over here like this and say B induced in here and put a few more extra dots like that. Okay, so this variable is traceable to show over here. And I source, I external, this is sort of clear enough because there's only one I, but if I want to be extra clear, then we should actually have all the variables matching each other, external or source. As long as it's traceable, that's fine. Okay, it doesn't have to be identical, but it has to be traceable. So this is how you can maximally get as much partial credits as possible. Because if a variable is not traceable, then the TA or the grader, whoever's grading your exam, cannot give you the partial credit because the variable could have meant anything, or you could have just copied and pasted a formula out of the formula sheet. Remember, copying and pasting formula from a formula sheet does not give you any points. Just copying a formula does not give you any points. Applying that formula to the specific scenario will give you the point. Okay, hope this clarifies it as well. And hopefully through this quick example, you've also learned what makes a good solution presentation in order to get the most partial credits out of your exam. All right, thank you very much and good luck with your studies.